Is that everything on? Okay. I welcome everyone to the March 14th regular board meeting. Thank you for joining us. If we can open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was close. I got a little. Trying to do it today.
The Spanish. That'll be on the agenda for next week. The Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Esta junta se lleva a cabo en inglés, pero contamos con servicios de traducción. Si alguien gusta hacer un comentario público o recibir explicaciones en español, por favor indique su necesidad. Should anyone wish to participate in citizen comments, you may still sign up by completing the citizen comment form at the entry of the room and turning it in with Kim White. Our virtual attendees had the opportunity to complete the form online before the meeting. Are there any modifications to the board agenda? No, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. In this meeting's consent agenda, we have minutes from the February 21st special meeting, February 23rd special meeting, February 27th special meeting, February 28th regular meeting, and the March 1st special meetings. We also have vouchers and payroll, personnel report, surplus report, contracts, field trips, and the enrollment report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Laura.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Is there any discussion? Perfect. All in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented? Aye. Motion carries. Kim, did we have any? Nope. Okay, so no citizen comments for today. Next, we will move on to special presentation. And I'm happy to see we have an ASB report.
Courtney Dodge. I'm the Wenatchee High School ASB president. So here's what I have since the last meeting for kind of like an update. So in January, our assemblies team worked with our administration to put on the Martin Luther King Jr. and Student Recognition Assembly for each grade level. And then our culture team has been hard at work at creating opportunities to bring the school together through yoga sessions before school and handing out hot chocolate and pancakes to students in the morning. They're also in the last stages of fulfilling every student's winter wish and just got approved to put on a school-wide lip dub at the end of the year. That's pretty exciting. And then in order to raise money for winter wishes and the ASB philanthropy account, the class held an online fundraiser of popcorn and raised a total of $1,389. And then a class fair was held in February at lunch where teachers advertised their classes to students who are creating their schedules for their next year. And then for Valentine's Day, ASB wanted to show their appreciation for everyone in the high school. So all of our class senators banded together to write every student and staff member's name on an individual heart. And so during lunch on Valentine's Day, people searched for the name on the wall of hearts to receive a piece of candy. And then for about like 2 weeks after, you can still see people in the halls just looking for the names on through all of it. And then our annual Janice Franz talent show was put on by our activities team and it spanned over 3 days. And we were able to raise around $5,000 for our beneficiary, Jessica Moreland. So that was great. And then prom is currently being planned by our junior senate and will take place at the high school on April 29th with the theme of Cloud 9. And then Clue, the student-run play, is currently being shown at the high school, and then the last dates to get tickets are through the 16th through the 18th. And then right now, ASB elections for the executive team are underway, and the preliminaries for the vice president ended on Monday, and then the final elections start on the 22nd. And so the candidates have been able to campaign in many ways, but they've been having, they were able to set up tables during lunch on the 7th, and then they'll also have the same opportunity on the 16th. And so after that process, the new executive team will interview and choose coordinators, and then Senate elections will begin. So then hopefully the next meeting I'm here, I'll have someone else with me. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you very much.
Any questions for Courtney? No. Okay. Thank you. Do we have anybody from Westside? No, okay. Next, we have a CTE update, so I'll pass it over to Bill.
Thank you. So we have Mr. Buchholz here to give us an update on CTE programming, and this is related to our strategic plan. We want to ensure our students emerge ready for their futures, and part of that is related to our Big Six outcomes. Our Big Six outcome number 6 is that students are involved in real world relevant learning processes, and that is a great place, a great fit for our CTE program. So we're excited to get an update from Mr. Buchholz this evening.
All right, thank you. It is a great fit. So there is a slideshow coming up here. I'll just give it a second to get going, but I wanted to say thanks for having me here to this evening. I want to go through, I'm going to try and go relatively quickly to honor your time, but make sure, please jump in if you have questions, and then there's opportunity at the end too as well. So some of the things that I'm hoping that you'll see throughout the slides is that we have pathways that are clearly outlined leading to post-secondary credentials. So that could be whether it's a certificate, it's an endorsement, an AA degree, ultimately a 4-year degree, depends on what a student's going into. But hopefully you'll see that there's pathways that are clearly outlined. We work to intentionally equip students with skills to bridge that gap to meaningful employment. So it's around making sure that we're preparing students to be in our valley and have family wage jobs and be able to access those. And then lastly, and this one is very important, and hopefully you'll see this thread through here, and that is to strengthen community connections while supporting students and building professional networks. So when we talk about students moving on to post-secondary, yes, there's skills and knowledge that are gained, but the other big piece that they gain during that time frame, regardless of what type of post-secondary experience, it is the building of a professional network, people that have similar skills that they can call upon and work through in their professional relationships. So within CTE, we have 6 program areas defined by from the state level. So agriculture, business, family consumer science, that's what FACS, health sciences, STEM, and then skilled and technical sciences. So we have all of those locally. We have the defined, outlined, and articulated 22 different programs of study. So what does that mean? Well, a program of study is a collection of aligned courses that'll have 4 courses in there. And I'll show you a graphic on the next slide. A minimum of 1 of those needs to be dual credit, or it can have an industry recognized certificate aligned to it. So for example, our medical occupations, and they work towards a CNA certificate. Okay, well now that one happens to also be dual credited, which means that they get credit at Wenatchee Valley College, or it could be Yakima Valley, or wherever it may be. Our biggest partner by far is Wenatchee Valley College, and we value that partnership. And then lastly, do we have sponsoring employers? And that's not necessarily with dollars, but with time and support. So we're looking for job shadow opportunity, mentorship, internship, so on and so forth. This is hard to see probably for you on the smaller text, but the idea was it's organized by program area. So each of those boxes is a program of study. It is a 4-course aligned sequence. Every single one of them, except for one right now, has dual credit in there. And then at the bottom, you can't see them, but you'll see them later, are sponsoring employers. So this is kind of a framework that we organize a lot of our thinking on, actually, in trying to develop new programs as they come along, as the need arises based off of what we hear from advisory committees and so on and so forth. So we're going to talk about a program of study. That's what we're talking about. So some of the things going on. So skilled and technical sciences, STEM areas. So law and justice, this is an area that has really taken off for us this year. We have moved the mock trial. So mock trial used to take place in the morning. And there's a lot of students that were not able to access it during that time frame. And so we have moved mock trial into the school day. We have 2 different sections of mock trial, as well as 4 of law and justice. So very popular course. We've had great support from Schlage County Courthouse and the different folks that work there. Tracy, Judge Allen, Commissioner Brandt, Travis Brandt, just a lot of support. So we actually go on courthouse visits. There's every Wednesday. A small group of students can go down and visit, and it kind of rotates who gets to go. Ski design and adaptive play, that falls within that program area. So you are probably aware and remember when we got the ski trailer. So that's alive and well, and students have been making skis and snowboards, and so that's going really well. So that's exciting. The Career and Technical Student Organization is TSA, and that is so state for TSA is next week. So you'll kind of see that throughout here. Different groups have their state different times of the year. Also within Skilled and Tech is Junior ROTC. So we're building program this year. This is year 1, and so we've done a lot since the last time I was here talking about this, but so we are wearing uniforms weekly, uniform checks and all of that. We got rank promotions going on, recognition of excellence. LDRs are leadership development requirements. That's within junior ROTC. So color guard and marksmanship, those are LDRs. Those are up and running. Color guard, I believe, will be in the Apple Blossom Parade. So that's good for them. They're excited about that. I took a field trip over to the Museum of Flight. They have an incentive flight coming up in late April. So we're going to go over to Spokane Fairchild Air Force Base and have the opportunity, if everything works out weather-wise, to fly in a KC-135, which is a refueling tanker. So students will have that opportunity to do that. And Ben and Larry, our 2 instructors, are working hard at connecting with community groups. So we had somebody from Rotary there today, actually. Daughters of American Revolution, other veterans groups reaching out for community service projects. So racetrack, Wenatchee Wild, so there's lots of opportunity for the color guard and different opportunities or different things that they can do to build that connection with community. Within agriculture, so we have our Hort Plant Sciences, our plant sales coming up first week of May. And vet science, we are working with Cascade Vet around a vet assistant apprenticeship. So that's something that Cascade has, so Cascade, Wenatchee Valley College, and then we have our vet assistant course that is embedded within what's called the Career Launch Program. And so that's been something that's been in the works for a while. Working with the DNR, PUD, Cascade Fisheries around natural resources pathway. And we're right in the middle of districts for FFA right now. Welding and fabrication is something we're hearing a lot from advisory. We need an influx of employees into the different trades. Specifically within welding and fabrication, they're all needed, but that one is needed quite a bit. So we have a big increase in that program. We have an instructor that came to us from Van Doren and has a tremendous experience in building and fabricating from scratch all of the fruit lines. So everything super tight tolerances and just really, really high quality work has to be done. And he had, I think 15 or 16 years experience building those. And so that's taken off under his leadership. And so we're very excited about that. Family consumer science, early childhood education practicum. So right now we have 17 students that are out within the Wenatchee School District completing a 60-hour practicum as we're working to build. And again, when we talk about pathways and that connection with Wenatchee Valley College, our courses align with the early childhood education certificate at Wenatchee Valley College. So as students take our courses, they're kind of checking those off in their work there. Residence Inn down here along the river is very excited to work with us around a hospitality management mentorship program, where we bring a group of students in, 10, 15 students, and they will work them through essentially a rotation of mentorship, internship in all of the different departments that they have within their organization there. Advanced Foods, we just had our food truck competition. So students designed, I guess, the graphics and a slogan and the name and a menu, and they had to cook the meal, and we had judges come in, and it was a lot of fun. So, but again, tying back to entrepreneurship, what you can do with the skills that you learn. So. We got our health sciences rolling. So right now we got 50 students, including in our medical occupations. They are completed with clinicals for the year. So they're working on making sure they're studying up and getting ready to sit for the CNA exam later as we get closer to summer. Can't thank Cashmere Convalescent, Colonial Vista, Regency. I mean, those are partners we have. Can't thank them enough for the opportunity for our students to be in there and working with them. Sports medicine, we had 23 students in the advanced class. So again, getting them outside the walls of a traditional classroom. So we have our training room as a practicum site, Apple Socks, and then our head athletic trainer was hired for the Wenatchee Bighorns. That's the basketball team. And so that will become a practicum site for our students to go and work with athletes using the skills they're learning in class. Outside of our regular program areas, we have work-based learning. So cooperative worksite learning, we have a worksite learning coordinator working with over 68 local businesses. And he meets with the employer, usually a manager level employer, and they work to set goals for our student that's working for them. And the goals will be around skill development, leadership development, management potential for that student. And they kind of have a feedback cycle for goals, looking for growth every time that they meet together. So they're partnering with us on that. Instructional, I mentioned some of the things up there already. And then our transitions partnership between CTE and special education, providing employment support for our transitions program, whether that's at Confluence or Stamilt or even Wenatchee School District. So we have various sites that we are working to provide support as we transition into employment. Just kind of a rundown of the career-connected learning opportunities. So the numbers up there are the number of students that we've been able to serve. So we had a first responder fair. And I think I'm trying to remember, we had maybe 14 different agencies or something like that were at the high school, and we had about 576 students be able to meet and talk with them. Took a group over to the UW Cadaver Lab. You can see some of the things up there. The job shadows, 242 different job shadows so far. Those are just some of the places. I couldn't fit them all on there necessarily, but Confluence Health Mentorship is a little bit more long-term. That's where students can go through, again, different departments over time. So that's exciting work there. At the middle school level, field experiences, small to mid-sized group experiences. So this might be a group of 7, So at 7th grade, we've taken about 140 students out, 8th grade, 171. We got 126 kids, part of a CTSO. So that's like FFA, FBLA, whatever it is. At the middle school level, it's TSA and mainly TSA, but WCTSMA, the sports medicine one as well. 44 different speaking events have taken place in the classroom and those are people coming in from the community. Those are not teachers. That's whoever, depending on what it is that we're focusing on. Yeah. And just a special thank you. I mean, so there's a lot of the businesses that have confirmed with us that they want to work with us in sponsoring, again, not with dollars, but time and support. And then special thanks to a lot of the individuals on the right-hand side for either taking individual students on job shadows or setting up some kind of program where we can get students into that. And the last thing I'll say about this and why this is so important and what we've been talking about for a number of years now is the importance of scaling down the size of Wenatchee School District in the eye of the public and humanizing and personalizing. And so the more connected people are with our students through things like this, the more we see Wenatchee School District as a place that serves a student versus an entity. And so that's the work we've been trying to do is to scale down and personalize and humanize. So that is all I have, unless you have questions. So.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. I was able to job shadow Holly Knifeton. What a lovely young lady.
Yes.
She came with me for a couple of hours, 2 days in a row. And I was a little intimidated, like, to be honest, like, I'm not a teacher in my life. So what am I going to do with this student? But we really had a nice time. She was super positive, and I would very much be interested in doing that again.
Fantastic. Thank you.
This is a half comment, half question. I've been very impressed over the last 1 to 3 years at the way CTE has developed programs with a lot of bone and muscle in them and expanded and integrated the different skills so that people can learn on several fronts. And also that you're moving down into the middle schools to create more of a career ladder and how that's going. Looking at the budget, the high school CTE is about 20 students over budget and just a couple over budget in the middle school. And you've been kind of in an expansionist program. How do you feel about message getting into the middle school, the enthusiasm and the demand for your services?
How do I feel about that? I mean,
Wait, you've got a good story.
Yeah.
How you're looking to next year. People will see. Just get a pulse of how you feel. Your colleagues feel about the program.
well, I would hope that as Wenatchee School District as a whole, I think people are excited about the work that we're doing and putting the pathway opportunities in front of students, again, because what we see is students that go through our system, a vast majority, and will either stay here or may leave, but will come back and will be a part of this community. So I think people are excited about how they see the opportunities opening up for all students, regardless of kind of where they want to pick and choose and where they enter the workforce, but that they're going to be at family wage opportunities, which is going to do nothing but help support that individual student, but also our community. So I think folks are excited. There's work with it, but people are excited about the work, and I think students are excited about the opportunities too. It seems that way as far as the number of students signing up. So
I too have a question / comment. It's wonderful to see all the list of providers and business partnerships, small to big, as small as Jennifer Bushongs to the PD. So thank you to all our community partners. Saw Laura's name on there too. For the work site, there was a slide there that you had students, in regards to students and transportation, how does that work for, say, a student doesn't drive or would like to participate in these activities and doesn't have the transportation?
So we'll kind of tackle that in two different ways. So the experience is we provide transportation for. Work site learning, they have to be 16, first of all, to do it. But obviously there are a number of 16-year-olds that don't have a license. When we run into that, that is something that we can provide transportation for. So within CTE, we have a couple of vehicles, and that's how we transport on that smaller scale versus having to do it through buses, which would create an issue or could create an issue within transportation. So we have transportation that we can help provide. When you start talking about a work site experience, there's some other things that go into it, and whether or not it's a paid position or an unpaid position. If it's a paid position, typically we're finding that students have their own way to get there because they've somehow managed to get that job, right? But if it's an unpaid, that's where we would step in and say, okay, this is an experience. It's an unpaid experience, but it's very valuable in moving that student forward along in their pathway to where they're going. And that's where we could look at the transportation within our little system, I guess, that we have. So, yeah. So a lot of those, and just to kind of go back, a lot of those business, the connections there, we put in place an individual, Cindy Mary, who's done just an outstanding job of making these connections, and it's a lot of work. I don't think we have tapped the full potential, but this is also a regional conversation I was having with local directors from Eastmont and other schools about how, as we move towards this, how are we going to work together as a region to ensure that we're not tapping certain industries or certain businesses more than they can handle, but also uncovering great opportunities for students that maybe isn't the name that we've all heard of. So
you were kind of going there with my question. I was actually going to ask about how you locate these business partnerships, and are you looking for particular partnerships at this time, or is it still kind of a global, we need to sit back and look regionally?
So how we get them is kind of old fashioned networking, I would say, of just, it's not like we have, we're not broadcasting out or advertising. It's really word of mouth. Cindy's making a call and she might get something going, and then that person says, well, have you reached out to so-and-so? And so we're kind of networking that way and building quite a list off of that, which is nice. That's been good. And then as far as the second half of the question, are we looking for anything in particular? No, we're still looking for all of them. So again, we want them in every program area. I would say our healthcare is probably a little more developed than the other ones. So I don't want to say we're not looking, but that one's the most developed as compared to the others, where we're still actively looking for opportunities. Because you start thinking about scale, we're a big system, and we start talking about, 400. It's not going to be everybody, but 400 graduates, let's just say, so 400 seniors that might take part in this or more. That's a lot, when you start talking about the load in the community. And so I'm very mindful of that. And we don't want to tap one resource too much.
One more question. You mentioned in respect to the early child care learning, how it tracks with the college. Is that truly a dual credit opportunity or like a running start? So
yeah,
you get college credit doing that.
Correct. Yeah. So anything that we say is dual credit, it will be what's called articulated with a specific class. So if they take, whatever accounting with us, that will articulate to the accounting class at Wenatchee Valley College. They take Sports Med 1, that's going to transfer over to, I don't remember exactly, they don't call it Sports Med, but whatever they call it, you know, something 108 or whatever. But yeah, every class is articulated. Some classes are articulated for more than one course. And that's just because of the way we do it. I think of, for example, our CAD class. Our CAD class has CAD and drafting. Well, those are two separate courses of Wenatchee Valley College. So our one class is articulated to both of those. They're just like a 3 and a 1 credit. So, yeah. And the cost, we pay, CTE pays the cost. It's a lump sum fee, and that covers all of those credits that are earned by students within those classes. And that's to no cost to the student for those credits at Wenatchee Valley College.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say, I think it's just wonderful. Thank you for what you're doing. I think this is the future for a lot of our students. I think it's wonderful that it's being expanded and enjoyed by the students that are enjoying it. I happen to have one who competed in the food truck competition. So I think it's critical. I think it is the future for so many of our students, and putting those paths to jobs, real live, money-making jobs is so critical. So thank you for what you're doing. It's really, really important work.
All right. Thank you, Jake.
Yep.
Appreciate your time this evening.
Yep, thank you.
And this is a very special week for some of our employees. I'd like to introduce our Executive Director of Human Resources with some special recognition.
Well, Jake's going to be really mad at me because I first want to just publicly acknowledge the fact that he has done great work in CTE. He has expanded that program in ways that I don't think we ever imagined that it would expand. And I'm sure I'm going to get some not very nice text messages after this because I know how much he loves it, but just need to be said. And normally I would hate following something like that, but since I'm also sharing really positive news about great work that our staff are doing, I don't necessarily mind doing it. I think we've known that our classified staff are dedicated to our students that we all serve. However, the last couple of years, their excellence truly has shown through. It's hard to only celebrate this year without referencing the last couple of years. I think we all know how hard it's been. And our classified staff really stepped up in a way that I don't think anybody imagined, including themselves, and really just did things that you're like, okay, never thought I'd be doing this. And really every time they were like, what can I do? It was never, no, that's not in my job. No, I've never tried that. It was really incredible. And working with Lori through that entire process was rather enjoyable. And I think a growing experience for everybody. So I think we just have to acknowledge that first, that the last couple of years have been really hard. That does not mean that this year has been easy. This year, we've really hit staffing shortages across the district. Doesn't matter what job pool we're looking at, we are short-staffed. And our classified staff have really stepped up and tried to really duplicate themselves, doing more than just one job. And I think that is really commendable. And it doesn't matter what group, whether it's our paras, our bus drivers, nutrition services, custodians, everybody has been working and doing more than one person's job just because that's what's needed. And every time I talk to people, they're like, that's what has to get done. That's what our students need. And I think everybody has students in the forefront of their minds when they're doing that work. I think it's also important to know that roughly 500 out of our 1,200 employees are classified staff. And I think that is a larger number than people realize. And I don't think they quite realize also exactly how many lives they impact every day. Our classified staff really touch every part of a school district. They are starting at our bus drivers. They're the first faces that our kids see in the mornings, greeting them with a smile, asking them how their night went, how did your morning go, to getting into the buildings. Our secretaries greeting them with smiling faces. Our secretaries are also the ones that are putting Band-Aids on when they fall and get hurt. They're also the ones that notice, oh, I think that kiddo's having a rough day, pulling them aside and having those conversations. to our mechanics who are fixing all of our machinery, all of our vehicles, all of our buses, making sure everybody gets to and from safely, making sure we have heating and air, working through our high school AC issues. And I think that just deserves some recognition. We also have our food service staff who are making sure that our kiddos have full bellies so that they can continue learning. And that is, not just breakfast and lunch. It's, they're providing some snacks. They're doing it all summer long as well. I think last but certainly not least, our paraeducators who are working one-on-one with our kiddos, really trying to help them get their academic and behavior goals met. And I think that our classified staff truly are the unsung heroes and the backbone of our school district. And without them, we would not be able to get our students where we need them to go. Most of our classified union presidents were not able to make it, but Lori was able to, and I just want to recognize her and the staff that she helps represent. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Lori. And thank you for all the work our classified staff does. It doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah, anybody else?
It's not possible to step into a school building without seeing all the extra hands working around in every corner after school, during school. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Just have to share, on Monday morning, there was grounds, I don't know if it was custodial or grounds crew, wrangling the deer at Washington. There was 4 of them, 3 were alive. And they were inside the fence playground area. And there's quite the crew getting them out. So other duties as assigned, right? Thank you. And so now we're moving on to our superintendent report.
Thank you. I would like to piggyback to start with on a little bit of what Kelly shared. Diana Hagland will be highlighting some of our classified employees this week as well on our Facebook and our website. And our caring classified employees play critical roles in ensuring that we can deliver on our promise that students will be ready for their futures. And so we do want to thank them for the great work they do in our system. They help make it possible to provide our students with a great start for their futures. We are heading into the apple blossom season, and last week, 3 5th grade girls were crowned Apple Blossom Junior Royalty, and I'm happy and proud to say that all 3 were from the Wenatchee School District. In addition to the royalty, a Valley Academy 2nd grader was surprised with her selection as Little Chief for the day by our Wenatchee Valley Fire Chief, Mr. Brian Brett, and she will participate in the Apple Blossom Chief for a Day experience on April 27th in Memorial Park. Lots of things coming up with the spring season. So the Mariachi Festival is coming soon. Dr. Callahar and I will have the opportunity to attend some of the workshops that are being provided for our students in relation to that event. We're looking forward to attending, and the popular festival concert will take place at Wenatchee High School on April 1st. And I wanted to give a special congratulations to Westside High School student Jordan Contreras Espinoza, who was selected as one of 15 students in Washington State to be a part of the Washington World Fellowship. And it's a global leadership program that aims to equip Washington's young leaders through leadership development and civic engagement. Jordan is also a valued member of my Superintendent's Advisory Council, so we are excited for Jordan. And you may have seen that Violet Madsen from our Wenatchee High School sang the national anthem Wednesday, March 8th to open the state Senate session. She was invited by Senator Brad Hawkins, who coordinated that opportunity for Violet to sing the national anthem for the senators. Violet is a senior and she's a soprano and was the winner of the Wenatchee Valley Symphony Orchestra's Young Musician competition this year. So we were excited to have her open on the Senate floor. We recently had DECA students that competed and earned state championships. Wenatchee High School had 25 students competing in the state conference this year in Bellevue, and we had several state champions. Jack Clark, Matthew Job, and Jason Newman earned state championships at that event, so we're proud of their work. And we do have a kinder registration event coming up that I'd like people to be aware of on March 22nd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. That will be at the Commons at Wenatchee High School. And the purpose of that information event is to help parents feel welcome and supported with information about kindergarten for new parents of kinders coming into the district. We will share information about schedules, transportation, meals, and much more. And we will also provide assistance with filling out the online registration application. We'll have iPads there and people to help. The presentation and support will be available in both Spanish and English. And this is the first time we've held an event like this. So we're hoping for a great turnout. And that is my report for this evening.
Lots of good information. Next, we have board communication. I'll start on this side.
I'll just say thank you also to our classified staff for all the work that they're doing in the buildings, and for as much as I'm in the buildings for my own students' events or whatnot, it's always impressed me how above and beyond they go for all the students and how they make an effort to know every one of their students. In fact, one of my best experiences from school was a janitor at our elementary school that used to grade our meals when he was dumping our trays at lunch. And so just know your impacts will forever be memories to a lot of these students that are fun recollections. So thank you for all your work.
Laura? It's heartening to hear about all the activities we have going on in our district. Thank you, Mr. Eagle, for that. My husband and I attended the opening night of Clue at Wenatchee High School. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful show. It was just chaotic. I mean, on purpose, chaotic. And the kids were just running around the stage in their various roles. And we found ourselves laughing hysterically at various points. So if you haven't had the opportunity and there are still tickets, I would encourage you to take that, take that in. Also, I saw Mrs. Nipfer there from Pioneer Middle School, and she was chaperoning a group of middle school drama club students who came to observe so that they could, sort of see what it's like to be in a high school production. So I'm looking forward to seeing those students sometime in the future.
Thank you. I do have a couple updates. In the continuation of our superintendent search process, I would like to create a committee to work on the employment contract for the superintendent, for our interim superintendent, Dr. Kalahar. At this point, I would like to appoint Catherine to work with me on drafting and working with Danielle Marchand's office in drafting that contract. Any discussion? Perfect. Also at our last board meeting, I requested a workshop on our multilingual learner program, also known as our bilingual program. And I think it would be valuable to also at some point, I know we're going to be going through some transition in the upcoming year, but I would also request that we get a workshop on the special education program. Also, our board work session scheduled for March 20th will need to be rescheduled. I know Bill and Kim are working on identifying a time that works for the team, and then they'll get back to us on possible dates.
So right now, if I can interject on that, the team that is involved in presenting that would be available on April 17th, which is the next scheduled workshop. So it would push that workshop into April. We had planned the April 17th to be a multilingual learner update. And as I've looked at some of the strategic plan presentation that they are preparing for, it includes some multilingual learner information, and we may be able to do both of those in one workshop on the 17th. But at this point, that is the next date that I can get that team together.
I shared with this Will, I know we are kind of a little bit shifting focus and putting a little bit more emphasis on our strategic plan. I just don't want the delay in the workshop to delay any of the work behind the scenes in regards to district office work.
We will push forward with things despite the fact that we won't be doing the workshop on the 20th, and we'll, give you the updates on the 17th if that works.
Thank you. And that's there's myself and another board member are not available on the 20th.
I am also not available on the 20th.
That makes 3 of us. Okay, and then other than that, our next regular board meeting is scheduled for March 28th.
And we do have an executive.
We do
session.
have an executive session, sorry. So at this point, the school board will now recess into an executive session for a period of 30 minutes until 7:15 to discuss with legal counsel representing the district matters relating to district enforcement actions or litigation or potential litigation to which the district, the board, or a member acting in official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the district. Pursuant to policy number 1410 and RCW 4230110, this discussion will be closed to the public. The school board is not expected to take final action following the executive session. executive session will be extended for an additional 15 minutes until 7:30. The executive session has been extended for an additional 15 minutes until 7:45. The executive session will be extending for an additional 10 minutes until 7:50. Bye. At 7:55, this meeting is adjourned.